2 hours to an American is light work. It is a commute to an American.
As an American who did not grow up in the United States, I want to talk about this, and this is going to be a bit of a long video, but I promise it's going to be worth it. To everybody who's not from the United States, it's no joke that the United States is massive. So I grew up in Japan, specifically Okinawa, Japan, which is like a speck on a map when you look at Japan. Where I grew up, you could not drive for more than like maybe an hour in one direction before you have to make a turn because you're going to end up in the ocean. That's just how small the place is. When I moved back to the US, my parents had moved back a year before I did, and they picked me up from the airport in Texas and took me back to their house. It was a 3-hour drive to go from the airport to their house. 3 hours. I had never been in a car for more than like an hour without like turning or stopping or getting to my destination before. Like that was a super long 3 hours. Are you kidding me? So this, of course, is the United States, the continental United States, and then Alaska and Hawaii. So I live right here in Indiana right now. So I took a road trip last week from Indiana all the way down to San Antonio, Texas. People that are not from the United States, pause this video and comment how long you think it took me to go from Indiana to San Antonio, Texas. I'm going to give you a minute. Put your comment down, and then I'm going to tell you in like 2 seconds. The answer is 19 hours and 48 minutes, one way, without any stops. That's 19 hours and 48 minutes of driving. It's about 1,200 miles. So we drove about 2,400 miles to go from Indiana to San Antonio and back. And to be honest, because of traffic and weather conditions and stuff, we were actually on the road, like physically driving for about 24 hours or so. To put that in perspective, if you got in a car in London, England, you could drive to Tuzla, Bosnia. Yeah, you could do that in about 1,200 miles. It would take you about the same amount of time, 21 hours. The United Kingdom to Bosnia. That's how far Indiana is from San Antonio, Texas. And that's just one little sliver from right there to right there. Just like kind of in the middle, just a line through the middle. That's it. So I think I've established that the United States is a pretty big, like physically, geographically speaking, a big country. There are bigger countries, of course, but the United States is still a really big country. When you're talking about each individual state, it's almost like when you cross a state line, it's almost like you're going into a different country. Especially if we're talking like European countries that are really similar, but also kind of different, even though they're right next door to each other. We just moved from Ohio to Indiana. And if you're not from the US, you probably would not know the difference between the two. However, there are extremely different laws. You can smoke marijuana legally in Ohio now without a registration card of any kind. Just be 21 years old, you can get it. In Indiana, you will go to jail still if you smoke marijuana here. If you have marijuana on you, you can still go to jail in Indiana. The speed limit is different. The police cars look different. The license plates look different. The driver's license look different. Politics are different. The accents are slightly different. People's cultures are a little bit different. And that's just Ohio and Indiana that like on paper look pretty much like the same exact place. So not only is the United States like very big geographically speaking, there's cultural differences from state to state and accent differences from state to state. And there's 50 different states that all have very unique cultures and very unique accents and very unique groups of people that come from different countries. Like Michigan, for example, which is right above Indiana. There's a big Dutch population there. Bet you didn't know that if you're not from here. Yeah, there's a bunch of Dutch people in Michigan. Somali people that live in Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota has the biggest population of Somali people in the United States. And if you widen the US culture differences, you could still look at it like Midwest, Northeast, Appalachian, Southern, Southwestern, Western, Northwestern, like so many different parts of the United States. The plains. And in all of those subcategories, there's even deeper categories like Texan, or brown side of Texas versus green side of Texas. I specifically mean the geography, not the people. Or, you know, Florida being like southern, but also like specifically Florida. There's a lot of things that I don't like about the US, but there's a lot of things that I think are pretty cool. And the fact that we have like 50 different countries that are in this one big country with pretty much every single type of geography you could ever look for. The Everglades, which are like rainforest, tundra, mountains, desert areas. I mean, we've got pretty much everything you could think of. There's just a lot of cool stuff here, to be honest. It's really, really big, and it's kind of confusing and very overwhelming because there's a big difference between just like a 2-hour drive, which is, again, a drive just down the road for Americans. By the way, I used to commute about an hour and a half one way to get to work last year for most of the year. So it was a 3-hour round trip just to go to work.